Okay. I gave you a brief introduction about what's the different frames we have here, and out of which the world frame is very crucial for us and the tool frame is very crucial for us. Rest all frames we are not using right now, and then it's again we can explore as we go along with it. So I'm gonna talk about the tool frame right now and how to actually define a tool frame for yourself when you're trying to work on the robots. So fine, so we are back onto this screen where we're creating the program. So I'm gonna hit menu and then press enter. This is my home screen again. Now from there I can navigate any place I want to. So I'm in order to go to the frames menu, press menu, go now, toggle over here, go to setup. Under setup you have frames, just press enter here. Yes, so once you press this thing, you basically have this is it shows user frame, setup, direct entry. So I'm gonna talk to you about those things. In order to toggle between the different tool frames and navigate between the tool frames, you press other, that is which is basically it corresponds through F3 over here. So you have tool frame, jog frame, and user frame. I'm gonna tell you guys how to define your own tool frame as you work on. So I'm pressing enter. So it goes to tool frame, setup, and 6-point method. So yes, you have 10 different tool frames offered for you, and you can basically create any of this tool frame. So here all of them are 0. So basically it says that your tool frame is basically at the faceplate. That is your default. That's how your robot came when you purchased it. But then we assign tool frame 9, so that's why you have coordinates over here, XYZ of some different values. So yeah, so say suppose I wanna define a tool frame for the kind of application. So quickly for me, I'm gonna talk to you guys about what a tool, like I told you, why do you actually need a tool frame. So yeah, so when you purchase a robot, your tool frame is right at the faceplate, XYZ at over here. If I'm not wrong, they're going to be over here. So but then you want this robot, you want the point of interest is this area, and then when you try to control your robot, using those different joints and all, it's pretty hard for you guys. You'll understand once you start working on it. It is pretty hard and it takes a lot of time. So what you have to do is you have to move the frame of this thing to this particular point or the point of interest in any case you want to. So this is what we're trying to do. We are trying to basically shift this frame to this frame. So this can be done in three different methods, which I'm gonna talk to you guys. So quickly back to the teach pendant again. So I'm not holding that man switch because I'm not operating the robot again. I'm just gonna show you guys how to operate these things, the tool frame. Yeah, so you have three different methods, three different ways to actually teach the robot the tool frame. Okay, so like I'm talking about, there are three different ways to actually define your tool frame. One is direct entry method, the other one is 3-point method, the other one is 6-point method. So depending upon the feasibility and kind of flex what do you say, it's basically okay. So depending upon the kind of application and the kind of accuracy you need, you have to select your methods. But the best possible method for any for highest accuracy is your 6-point method. I want to walk through you guys what are the different methods. So in order to create any particular frames, like I told you, they have 10 frames offered for you right now on the teach pendant. So if I want to define any tool frame, I'm going to select one of those numbers assigned. I'm going to press enter here, and it goes to that particular tool frame and the kind of values it actually requires for it to actually identify that particular frame. So once we are in this screen where you can actually it states tool frame setup, direct entry, and this is the frame number 5. So you can quickly jump to any frame, just type frame which is under F3 and press like 7. If you want to go to the frame 7, it goes to frame 7, that is tool frame setup, direct entry 1/7. So in order to change any of the methods, type, so your method is correlated to F2, press F2. You have 3-point, 6-point method and direct entry method. So I'm gonna go for a 6-point method here. So this is your 6-point method. So here, your 6-point method, you need to input all these parameters. So approach point 1, approach point 2, 3, orient horizon point, x direction point, and z direction point. So what it does is, if say suppose my robot is over here and this is my arm, okay, it actually needs 6 particular points. So if you want this particular frame, okay, say this is your particular frame over there, and then the arm has to go in this and has to operate. Since my tool frame, the default tool frame is about a particular height, it can actually properly go in there, and it's pretty difficult for you guys to actually program the robot to actually pick this part or do any of the functions in that workspace. So what you have to do in order to define a frame on this particular point is you need to define all these 6 points: approach 1, approach 2, approach 3, or end. So what does this mean? Say suppose my gripper is like this and the point is right at this center. So my approach points are basically how you're actually approaching the point. So it can be you take your gripper right there in one particular position and show that this can be approach point 1, and then this can be approach point 2, and this can be approach point 3. So basically every time what you're trying to do is locating the one particular point but in 3 different locations of your gripper. So one position is basically showing the gripper is right here and it's pointing towards your horizon, and then second position, the gripper is in a different angle but it is again showing the same horizon. So that is the 3 first points, that's approach point 1, approach point 2, approach point 3. And then you take your gripper and align it with the horizon of this thing. So that is basically regarded as horizon point or orient horizon point. Once these 4 points are recorded, you go for x direction point. So you want to define the frame for it. So you can define any frame you want. If you want your x like this, y like this, and z and your right-handed coordinate system, so you can take the robot gripper like this and move it linearly along this direction for a particular distance, and it records that particular x direction point. You go through this and then press record and it records for you. And then for z direction, if you want, you have to take the gripper right above the point of interest, take it above and then record it. Once this all points are recorded, it will be showed for you in x, w, y, p, and zr, and these frames are recorded. So I'm not gonna actually show you how it's done, but I'm gonna share a few links where it is actually done more clearly than right here. So I'm going to refer you all these links where you can actually find how this tool frame is defined. So I'm quickly, as an example, what are tool frames, I already mentioned about you, but then I'm going to show you a demo for that. So I'm going to operate the robot. So I have to press the dead man switch halfway and then release the fault, shift reset once the fault is cleared for me. Okay, now I'm gonna just toggle this thing. See, as you can see, the whole of the tool is moving, right? The whole of the tool is moving about their own axes. Okay, that is at the coordinate frame of the faceplate, because it is in world frame as it's shown. It is always in world frame, like we were using in world frame, and then like shift coordinate, if you press shift coordinate, it's in tool 1. So with this configuration, it is actually operating like this. Alright, so now we actually created a tool number 9. So I'm gonna quickly change it to tool number 9. So you can go to tool number 9 by shift. I'm pressing shift and coordinate switch over here and then press 9. So it's basically changed to tool number 9. So once this is in this frame, we already defined that frame that is exactly at the center of at one of the edges of the big block you can see. So see how it differently behaves. Initially the whole of your tool is moving, but right now you can see one of your edge is practically stationary. The whole tool is actually moving along that particular point. The whole tool is particularly moving above that point. This is your tool number 9. If I quickly change it to again tool number 1 and then I show you the difference, your whole of the toolbox is moving. So when you're trying to operate these things, it's pretty much difficult. See, this is in tool number 1. As you can see, tool number 1, and the whole of the block is moving, which is pretty much hard for you guys to control when you're trying to teach a program. But when I change it to tool coordinate 9 and then operate it again, it's acting very differently. So those are the uses of the tool frames, and they are number of users. It depending upon the application, you can find it how to use it. So that's all for the training tutorials for you guys, but I'm gonna make few more, and then as long as we will be intact, and then I'm gonna explain you guys more in detail about how to use the robot as such and how to operate the that's it.